I'm about to build a vanity for our bathroom. It's a 48 inches wide, 21 deep, 33.5 inches high, plus the countertop. I normally get my good plywood and lumber from a place down in Austin called Fine Lumber and Plywood, but it's such a small project I don't feel like driving the hour and a half to go get one sheet. So I'm using this maple here from Home Depot. It's not the best, but it'll do for what I'm doing. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. First, I'm gonna mark and cut out the end pieces of the vanity. You can make cuts like this in plywood freehand if you're really skilled. You can use something like a circular saw and a straight edge like a ruler. But the ultimate is one of these track saws. Once you get one, you'll never know what you did without it. Great thing about track saws, you just line up the two marks with the edge of the track saw and you just cut. There's not a lot of messing around. You could make this cut with a track saw or circular saw, like I talked about earlier, but I've got a table saw, so I might as well use it. And might as well plug it in too. So I'm gonna cut this notch out here. I'm gonna use a jigsaw to cut this out. Normally you wouldn't use this giant hack 'em up blade here, but I don't feel like running to the store to get something else, so I'm just gonna hide the tear out where you won't see it. But you should expect some tear out with this blade. We got some tear out on the cross grain, but this will actually be hidden inside the cabinet so nobody will see it. Now I'm gonna cut the bottom of the cabinet. In my opinion, a piece of plywood that's bigger than about half a sheet is safer to cut with the track saw versus the table saw. Someday I'll have a longer track. Now I'm gonna cut it to length, 48 inches minus 3/4 for each end piece, so 46.5. What we got going on here is we got pocket holes on the ends here, and that's to attach the bottom to the sides. And then we got pocket holes on this edge here, and this is the front edge of the vanity. And that's where we're going to glue and screw the face frame onto the actual vanity carcass. I'm gonna drill some more holes for pocket screws, but I'll pick back up when I'm doing the next step. I'm gonna cut a 3/8 by 1/2 inch groove, or dado, I don't remember what, groove, dado, I know one of them's right. In the back of the frame, rabbet. I'm gonna cut a 3/8 by 1/2 inch rabbet in the back of the plywood pieces so that I can attach a piece of 1/4 inch plywood to the back. That way it seals up really nice, but it also gives a little bit of room for adjustment in case the wall is not completely flat or straight. One thing that I found that's really useful are these brass shims. This is 3/8, this is 1/2 inch, and I'll be using those to set the depth of the saw blade. All right, so it's 3/8 deep. Now I'll do 1/2 inch from the fence. Good enough. It doesn't have to be within a 1/64 of an inch or anything. So that'll get us half of the rabbet. Now I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna raise the blade to be a 1/2 inch, and I'll make the outside of the blade to be 3/8 from the fence. Someday I'm gonna build me an outfeed table. But to quote the end of Gladiator, but not yet, not yet. I'm gonna be holding the pieces vertical. And so to make sure that it's up against the fence, I'm gonna use this magnetic feather board. I bought some storage cabinets from an Alcoa plant that was closing down. And you had to buy the contents of the cabinets with the cabinet itself, and inside one of the cabinets was a bunch of these blocks. They aren't light, but they're actually amazingly useful for like what I'm about to do right now. They work great. It's something to clamp to. You want something to stay, like I want this to stay vertical like this. I mean, it's not going anywhere, so now I can move it around, and it's really convenient. It also helps to put this thing on the correct direction. I use the special plywood screw clamp. One of the reasons why I do 2 holes is I clamp it down, and then I'll put a screw here, and then I can go back and screw that one. It's best to keep it flush at the back where the groove is, because this will all be hidden by the face frame. But if somebody looks inside the cabinet, they'll see a gap in the back. So get the back right, and the face frame will cover this up. If it's too much of a discrepancy, you can always use like a block point to get it better. And this rusty nastiness will never be seen. This cheapo hammer from Harbor Freight, pretty good deal. This is a vertical piece, goes on the top, and you want those pointing the correct direction so that they attach the face frame later. And this is the only task that I've found the clutch on the drill to be actually useful. And this piece will back up the back. And also be a place to attach the Vanity to the wall with screws. And so that's why I've got pocket holes at the bottom, top, and here so that I can screw it into the sides and then screw this piece into here. Got a rabbit going around, and then I got this back piece flush with that rabbit. So we just put a piece of 1/4-inch plywood in here, staple it around here, tape for this, good to go.
Picked up the poplar for the face frame at Home Depot. It's about 3 times the cost of what I get from my hardwood supplier, but this is definitely more convenient. The noise you hear is the rain hitting the metal roof of my shop. It's definitely way too loud to record any audio. Here I'm installing a sanding disc on my table saw. This works really good for sanding the small side of a board and also ensuring that it's the correct 90 degrees. I picked up this tip from another YouTuber named Mike Farrington, and I'll have a link to his channel down below. Now I'm drilling the pocket screws for the face frame. Luckily it's still raining hard, so I'm having to do a voiceover here.
All right, now that I got the face frame completely built, I'm going to glue it to the carcass, and then after I let the glue dry, then I'll do some sanding, a little bit of routing. Good thing to keep in mind is what are the visible surfaces. So like this face right here will be a visible surface, this face will not. This will not be, and then actually the behind here you'll never see. So just, it's good to keep in mind what are the critical surfaces that people can see and what are the stuff that doesn't really matter. Like for instance, if there's some glue drip right here, who cares? If there's some glue drip on this side, people will see it. So this corner right here, I have a critical surface and a critical surface meeting right here, because this is gonna be visible. So this is gonna be where I clamp first. And the human finger is amazingly good at detecting changes in plane. I think I read where a human finger can detect like a 64th of an inch difference. 64th of an inch difference. Go ahead and shoot on the bottom, and then we'll adjust this side right here, and then we'll do everything else. I'd rather the face frame stick out a little bit from the plywood than have the plywood stick out a little bit from the face frame. You'd always sand the face frame flush. You can't really sand the plywood flush because you might sand through the veneer. All right, now I'm gonna work on this corner here. I'm gonna work on this edge because this is a visible edge as well. And again, I'm okay with any discrepancy that where the face frame sticks over, but what I don't want to have is where the plywood sticks over. This protrusion right here is actually planned. That way this can be flush up against the wall, and if there's any discrepancies in the drywall, especially if there's something back in the corner, then this gives you a chance to have it sit better in. Last thing to do is put one of my favorite multi-tools on here as a clamp, as a gravity clamp. Let this glue dry a couple hours, do a little bit of sanding, and round over some of the edges with a small round over bit.
My dad knows how to make awesome vanities, so you should definitely take advice from this video. I approve. Almost exactly like my dad does DIYs on houses, I do DIYs on like other smaller things. So if you want to check out my channel, make sure to go watch Tori Sparkles.
So that's my basic process on how to make a vanity. I think it's very simple. I use mostly pocket hole screws. Some people deride pocket hole screws, but I don't think I'm going to lose my firstborn child just because I use pocket screws. Maybe you think differently. I am going to make 2 drawers, and then I'm also going to buy the drawer fronts and the door fronts. There's a company down in Austin that makes doors for a very reasonable price. It's just not worth making them myself for the quality that they can put out. And I will install those, but that's not part of this video. And that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section. I'd be happy to answer any. And good luck with your vanity. I hope it turns out well. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please hit that subscribe button. Have a great day.